Know thyself. Who are you? When you're born on this planet, you take a breath. And doctors say they give this very Western idea that, oh, it's just to clear the lungs. And in yoga philosophy, they say, no, it's not.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. I am here with my new best friend, Raj, and this is going to be fun. Raj has on a mission to help all of us stop having so much stress and find that calm. I want a calm button. You know how we used to have the advertisements of the easy button and stuff? I want a calm button, one that I can just push and feel that instant relief. And I think he's got some secrets for us because there's times when this is super important, especially at holidays when we're around people that just a long-term history of stress, or in the middle of meetings and you're getting phone calls from home and you're like, I can't handle it all. So we're going to get this calm button today. So I'm excited. So Raj, before we get started, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor. When we come back, help me create a calm button. We'll be right back. Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on the show to list the coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LaraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network. All right, Raj, the information about you is in the show notes. So let's get started. And how did you figure out how to stay calm?
Well, Laura, first, thanks for having me. I think it's going to be a very animated conversation. I appreciate it. Thank you. I think the best way to talk about this is to tell you a bit about my journey and my backstory. Would that be okay?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay. So it's the reason why I talk about this is because when we were children, we all have dreams. And a lot of times, because of life circumstances and things, we forget about those dreams. We kind of lose touch with that. And then later on in life, we regret it. And we think, oh, what could have life have been if I had kept those dreams alive a little bit, So when I was 3 years old, I went to nursery, or kindergarten, as they call it in America, of course. And in London, where I was born, we enrolled there, and we go to the playground, the classroom, and we end up in the library. So mother takes me there, and I pick up a couple of books off the library bookshelf. First one was about dinosaurs. The second one was about planets. I didn't touch the Thomas the Tank Engine or the Mr. Happy, Mr. Sad books. I just didn't touch those for some reason. And for whatever reason, Laura, the pictures on these books so sharply etched on my mind, dinosaurs and planets. And it profoundly affected my entire life, up till now even. And more so than my entire education, believe it or not, which in a way is a kind of blessing in disguise, because I wasn't that much interested in what school was teaching anyway. Because I had my mind on other things.
Absolutely. I understand that a lot.
Yeah. And, thing about dinosaurs for me was I was wondering, how does a crocodile evolve? Because if you look at a crocodile today, they're not much different than 200 million years ago. The same design is still there. I'm like, that's amazing. All the other animals have kind of evolved, and humans especially, but I was curious, how do alligator evolve into a dog, and then a cat, and then a dolphin, and an elephant? And as they go higher up the chain of intelligence, they become more cooperative. They work better in a herd. They communicate better. And I thought humans could learn a lot from that, right? Communicate, work together, cooperate. As you know as well as I do, a lot of people won't cooperate. because of their ego and conflict and misunderstandings, whatever. So that got me interested. And then wondering about the human brain. Can we evolve our own brains by our own self efforts? And of course, the answer is yes. And in all the studies, they say in universities from in Russia and the UK and USA, we only use 10% of our brain. They've been saying that forever. Then I would say, why do you keep telling us that? Why don't you teach us how to use the 90% that is not being used?
Or even just 1% more would be cool.
Absolutely. We have 27 billion brain cells, right? And just a little bit more would help a lot within the intelligence to help people improve life and make life easier and better for other people as well. So that was the thing about dinosaurs and evolution. The thing about planets was it really got to me in terms of their planets spinning in space. Okay, amazing. What are they doing though? How are they affecting life on Earth and specifically humans? So you've got Jupiter out there spinning at 47,000 kilometers per hour. And the size of Jupiter is 1,300 times, you can fit Earth 1,300 times in Jupiter. It's mind blowing, right?
I
But then you
can't
think,
even really imagine. I mean, I can hear it, but
yeah,
it's so hard to imagine.
it is. It is. 1,300 planet Earths can fit in Jupiter. And you're just wondering, well, what is this planet doing? Right? It's spinning so fast, so much energy must be coming from it electromagnetically. And it got me obsessed thinking, how do these player forces affect animals and plants and humans on Earth? So that started me on a journey of self-discovery and deep study of yoga and metaphysics. And I'll tell you a little funny story, and then we'll get to your reset question. Um, I was I was 18 years old, and I was quite a rude, obnoxious teenager, as you get that age, kind of rebellious and whatever. And my mother decides to go to India. She's quite open-minded, she's quite curious, and she says, "Do you want to go?" I said, it's a poor country and all this nonsense. Yeah, what?" And she was a bit annoyed about me saying that. But you never. Why are you saying that? You've never been there. I said, "Yeah, that's true. Well, let me put my obnoxious teenage self aside and go and investigate, like Indiana Jones, right? Let's go."
Mm-hmm.
So I go, and the shocking thing that happened to me was I met an avatar. Right? Yeah. If you're
Wow.
familiar with the concept of an avatar from Netflix, Avatar: Last Airbender, with all the shape shifting of elements, fire, air, water, earth, and so on, and James Cameron's film Avatar, which he brought to the big screen, I thought all this stuff was nonsense, right? Just woo woo stuff and Star Wars, the Force. I thought it was all nonsense. But I go to India and I meet a real life, full blown avatar, and I'm like, oh my God, this can't be real. And I'll tell you the strangest thing happened. He knew the books I was looking at as a 3-year-old. He knew why those images affected me so much. And he said, "Son," he addressed me as son, very affectionate. "Listen, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. You think you read a few school books and you know something about life? You know nothing." I was like, what? I felt like my ego was slapped to the ground. You know what I mean? And I thought, what then? What? And he said, you need to be humble. You need to listen and you need to learn, right? Because you don't know where you come from. You don't know what you're doing here. You don't know where you go when you die. You don't know how this earth was made. You don't know anything. You need to learn. It upset me so much as being a materialistic, rude teenager that it just sent my life upside down, literally. Yeah.
All the teenagers I know would have gone, I've been around for 18 years. I know shit.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. And I thought, India? What do I want to go to India for? It's undeveloped. It's all poor people. Like, it's all crazy. What do I want to go there for? And for whatever reason, I was supposed to go there and I was supposed to meet this avatar and he was supposed to flatten my ego to the ground, which he did successfully.
That's
After,
cool because I think a lot of us would have pushed through and not humbled ourselves enough to listen. It's like, that's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, but it was hard. It was hard work. Because I went into monk mode from there on for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So from 20 years old up to 30, I went into monk mode and I cut off all TV, all films, all friends. Well, I say friends, but
The old friends. We got a new group.
we have a new group. We have a new group. I cut off all like lots of social occasions. I just cut them out. People thought I was a bit mad. But I had to study. I had to read and understand and think what is the avatar talking about? It affected me that much. So then I started to understand about breathing and how fundamental breath is to humans and life and the dynamics of consciousness, experience, perception, habits, because humans are creatures of habit,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And if you don't know how those habits are formed and how they impact your life based on your breathing patterns, you're going to be very confused and unconscious most of the time.
I preach it a lot is we are results of our programming as we grow up. And it's not that it's wrong that we are the way we are. That's the way we were raised. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a challenge to turn that light switch and walk away like you did. And that's amazing you did at such a young age that
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, of course, I'm eternally grateful because my life took on a completely different trajectory. And people are often confused. How does one person know all of these things about relationships, about health, about wealth, about mindset, about habit, about destiny, about karma, about all? How do you do that? And
Mhm.
I had to say, well, focus and concentration, which are things that are never taught in school. Never. You don't get one single hour about the subject of concentration or focus.
Other than pay attention.
Then the kid will say, "How do you do that? What do you mean? Focus, concentrate. How? Well,
Yeah.
just do it. What? Do what? Just concentrate. But how do you do that? See that
The
dialogue.
how is missing.
Exactly. Exactly. So then, understanding about breathing patterns, I began to understand that you can control your moods and your energy and your emotions from controlling your breath. Right. And if you don't do that, you're missing out on the ability to lead a more predictable life according to your terms of how you want to rock up in this world. So that's where I learned about breathing methods for remaining calm, for boosting your energy, for boosting your immune system, your nervous system, and to make you more intelligent. Because breathing, once you understand breathing patterns, your intelligence that unfolds because you bring energy into the brain, into those 27 billion cells that have probably been mostly dormant for most of your life, now start to spark like little light bulbs, start to brighten up and brighten up and brighten up. And all these brain cells working for you, it's massive leverage.
That's cool. Thinking about the breathing, when they first start telling you breathe, you go, I am. I'm not holding my breath. I'm breathing, and it's that same thing that you said with concentrate or focus. I
Yeah.
am. How do I do that? And it's like we want to take you from that just breathing to conscious breathing,
Mm,
where you're aware of the process. And that's such a huge, it's like conscious breathing.
mm,
It's just that same kind of thing is you say it and until you've experienced it, it's
mm.
why.
Exactly. Exactly. Some of the tangible benefits of this, because I know they're vast concepts. Some of the tangible benefits. Why Raj? Why Laura? Why all this breathing? I'll tell you a few massive benefits you can get. I've not been sick for 23 years. I've not taken medicine for 23 years. I've not seen a doctor or had an X-ray, an ultrasound, or an MRI for 23 years. And people say, how do you do it? You don't get colds, no flus, no headaches, no migraines, nothing. How do you do that? And I say, the breathing. Because what the breathing does, it builds your electromagnetic. We all have an aura around us. And what it does, it builds the energy around your body more and more and more the more you do it. And protects you from disease germs, disease viruses. So it'll be someone with a serious flu, and you can contact them, you can give them a kiss on the head, whatever you want to do. And you're not going to get affected because your electromagnetic field is so strong that nothing from the outside world can touch you. And people think this is all silly, like Star Wars, the Force, and just silly stuff. But it's all real. It's real.
No, I know a lot of people that are in that same boat, where they just don't get sick. And it's not because I am a hermit and I don't go out. I know people that are hermits and don't go out and do get sick. It's kind of that opposite is what is that power, that energy, that shield that you have around you where these lower vibrational things on this earth aren't getting through. And the rest of us are getting bombarded. Like I still get migraines. It's crazy. But it's like I have my go-to breathing methods that help calm that down. But I'm really excited to hear about yours because I've not heard, well, I might have heard it in a different name because I've had a lot of breath classes. But how do the different breathing methods affect different areas of your body? Like a lot of people do box breaths or 5-10 or the fire breath or dragon. There's all these different breaths that you can do, and they all affect something different. Some are energizing, some are, calming. How do you know which one to pick? Because I do have my 2 or 3 go-tos.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a bit more advanced than the normal questions that we get. So it's brilliant. So basically, what you do is you blend the parasympathetic with the sympathetic nervous system. Once you blend them together, it's like sun and moon, right? You have them; they're opposite, but when you blend them together, perfect. You have male and female, and they seem like they're so separate and different, but when you blend them together, perfect. Right? So we have left and right hemispheres of our brain, logic and feeling. And when they're separate, it's very confusing. But when you blend them together, perfect, right? You've got the perfect blend of reason. You can reason, you can logic, analyze things, as well as appreciate, the beauty of things and the aesthetics of things and the poetry of things as well.
It sounds beautiful. So how do I do that? I want to do it right now.
Let's do it.
I want to know that magic key.
Yeah, here it is. We'll give it to you in a kind of succinct, compact, like snapshot so you can experience it. I'll walk you through it and then I'll ask you some questions to see physiologically how you're responding. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So first, Laura, what you do is you close your eyes for a moment and just check in with yourself. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible and 10 being amazing, what would you say you feel right now?
9.
9, excellent. Great. And if you can check the nostril flow, you can open your eyes for a second. You block the right nostril and breathe in and out a few times off the left.
I'm definitely breathing through my left nostril right now.
More so, yeah. Would you say the ratio is like 80-20 or 70-30?
Probably 70-30.
Right, okay, cool. 230, okay. Okay. So on Zoom, I think there's some noise cancellation, so I'm going to have to make the sound audible so you can hear it.
Okay.
But then the real breath doesn't have any sound. It's very soft and gentle.
Okay.
But for the sake of the Zoom noise cancellation, I'll just make the sound. So sniff, sniff, sniff through your nose in 3 parts. So sniff, 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 like you're sniffing a flower. 3 parts. Yeah. And then it's ha, 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 with an elongated exhalation on the third exhale through the mouth. So sniff, 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 and ha, ha, ha. Sniff, 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 and ha, ha, ha. So the ha sound or the ha aspiration is coming from the back of the throat to activate the vagus nerve. So again, ha, ha, ha. So nice elongated exhale on the third one. Ha, ha, ha. Right?
So make yourself purr like a cat.
Kind of. Yeah. Kind of. That's an interesting thing you said there.
There's nothing more calming than a cat purr, and I don't have cats.
Awesome. Try a couple of times.
I did while you were walking us through it. And
Okay.
I have done that one before, and I don't remember what we called it. But I do remember that it was always very grounding. You know, when you're up here and you're in la la land, running all over the place, and you sit down and you do this, and all of a sudden you just feel grounded. Like, I don't need to be everywhere. I'm present at the moment. And that's what that breath has always done for me. And I thank you for bringing it back to my attention, because it's not been one of my go-tos recently. So it's like, okay, add that back to the list.
Okay. So what we could do, Laura, if it's okay, we do this for a minute together. And then I'll walk you through some questions, if that's okay. What do you think?
Yeah, it's okay. So if you're listening, because you are. So while you're listening, if you're driving, you can kind of breathe with us, but pay attention. If you're in a place where you can do it with us, this can take about a minute. So I'm following you.
Okay, awesome. So put the timer on, and we'll do it with the eyes closed for the 1 minute. And then after that, I'll ask you some questions with the eyes closed. So you'll start to feel more the impact of this. Okay, let's go 3, 2, 1, and go. Keep the eyes closed. Okay, you can just stop there. Just relax. Just gently observe and notice what's happening within. Just relax. And keeping your eyes closed, Laura, tell me what you notice and how you feel.
I definitely feel a lot of energy. Like, my head is vibrational, my arms, my lower back, just that high vibration of calm, just and ready. You know, like, I can do anything now. Watch.
Wow.
I do. I feel really good.
Uh-huh. How's your brain in terms of any gentle pulsations, any sensations, anything like that? any rush, like feeling of energy
I,
around your brain?
I had the energy, and then as I tuned in, it's almost like my heartbeat is in my brain.
Right.
So,
Interesting. Now, would you say your heart rate slowed down a bit?
oh, yes.
Yeah. And the mental chatter, we call it the ADHD or the monkey mind or the racing thoughts. Has that kind of slowed down a bit?
It was gone. It's coming back, though.
Yeah. But you noticed there was quite a decrease in that. Okay. Do you feel like you're somewhat in a flow state?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And do you get a sense of how this method could help people calm and relax and go to sleep a bit more easily? If they were, struggling with that. Do you see how this could help them drift off a bit easier?
I can see it doing a lot of really cool things, and the one that comes, in my mind is those meetings that you walk out of and you're just at that so top of your stress list. And if just to be able to take this and it would be like an eraser on the chalkboard and
Exactly.
gone.
You just hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what we do with corporate clients. Exactly that. You said you felt a 9 out of 10 earlier. Can we ask what would you say you feel now?
About 9.9. You can always get better.
Wow. And given that this is just 60 seconds, and this is just like a snapshot, compact version of what we do, is it fairly surprising of how quick the impact was? What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Definitely something you could walk to your car or take a quick break and just let go and come back in totally refreshed.
Yes.
You could even do it at your desk if you wanted to, but somebody might look. You have to let go of your ego.
We've trained people to do it imperceptibly. So they could be at their desk. They could be in a car and they're in road rage for a few minutes ago, and they do this, and that stress is completely dissipated once they do this in that road rage incident, or shortly after. Also, in social occasions where, social anxiety might be running high, it could be Thanksgiving, could be a wedding, something like that. People will just go to the restroom and do this, and they will literally come out reset.
Yeah.
And they won't feel that trigger point anymore. It's genuinely gone. It's not like they're trying to put on airs or put a fake smile on or anything.
We have a calm button.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
There we go. And I hope that helped a little bit.
It was magical. I mean, very not distracted. I don't know what the other word. What's the opposite of distracted? Focused. I'm not really focused. I'm just floating.
Flow state.
Just float.
Flow state. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And so by doing this, you're able to not get sick. Wow.
Don't get colds, flus, viruses. People who know me, they know because I never have a day off. I love my work. I love what I do because I'm powered by this flowing energy, just constantly releasing these hormones from my brain. And the brain is incredibly powerful, so powerful. You just don't imagine. When it releases these hormones into my bloodstream, it keeps my blood alkaline. When it's alkaline, disease processes cannot form in the first place. There's no acidity in my blood. So anyone can do this. It just needs a little bit of coaching.
To get as healthy as you've been doing this for 30 years, but for someone starting at the beginning, is it 2-3 times a day? At the moment, it can definitely be a rescue, right? Like, I'm stressed, I need a rescue. But to be preventative and not have to use it as a rescue method, how often do you do it a day?
I would, that's why when people, they go to our site and they see our program, they'll often get it and try it for themselves, and they like it a lot because of the quick results. But then if they want anything deeper, any other major transformational shift in their relationships, in their work or whatever, they can get into that. But we would generally recommend 2 to 3 minutes, once to twice a day to start with.
That's nothing.
It's nothing.
So this is something we can't stack. So I'm really, really love to stack my things, like do stuff while I'm brushing my teeth or in the shower. But if you were in a relaxing bath, you could stack it to that.
Absolutely.
If you were just taking a 5-minute break in between two meetings, it fits into pieces, but you really couldn't do it. I guess you could do it driving, but you couldn't shut your eyes. I think it'd be more effective with your eyes shut because it's going to help you tune out the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, it would help reset and get you up for the day. And as you go to bed, that's twice. And then in the middle of the day. And I think, rescue is, I get dehydrated. I drink a glass of water. Sometimes I try not to get dehydrated. I try to drink a little every moment, but you do. And so rescue sometimes is important because you just didn't take the moment. So I think incorporating it morning and night, and then as you feel you have the time would work.
Absolutely. And I mean, when men, for example, who are stressed corporates, before they leave the car to go into the wife, hi, honey, I'm home, and the kids and so on, they do it in the car for 3 minutes. Completely reset. All the stress is just gone from the office. They don't have to bring it in the house.
And lots of times I talk about taking that moment for reflection and to, let go of the stress of the day so that you can be present for your family. Raising kids and coming home exhausted. My favorite things drive, thank goodness there was fast food restaurants when I was working all the time. I didn't have time to cook. Here's some food. I did not keep my kids very healthy, but they were fed. So, you could do it so many different places. And
Right.
if you could do that 3 minutes, you might come home and go, I think I could cook.
Absolutely. Even in the restroom, if you're in the restroom in a shopping mall, you can do it then. No one's there. You've got your private cubicle. No worries. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are there other techniques that you also do, or is this the only thing you have to do to stay healthy all the time?
Well, you see, the thing is, we were coaching an Olympic swimming coach recently, and of course, when you're swimming, you're very attentive to your breath in terms of, if you're diving, if you're doing breath holds, if you're swimming fast, and you have to be very aware of your breathing. And she teaches children to be Olympic swimmers. It's very, very high level, elite level. And we had a really interesting discussion. I said, how many techniques do you have? And she says, 48. I said, really? And so she went through them, all the different types.
Wow.
And I said, so you give this to your students? She said, yes. And I say, how many do they do? And she said, none. I said, what? What do you mean? She said, they always say it's too complex and it's too many. I said, right, it's really interesting. Right, so what to do then? And she said, she loved the 3-3 that we did. And she says, I'll just give them one, yours. And it's easy to remember. It's not like you have to count in the air. You've got a rhythm and a breath to count. Because they get distracted when it's just in the air. Hold for 4. How long is 4? Do I need a timer? Right? With ours,
Right.
it's just dun dun. It's like a rhythm. Dun 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 da 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 da. It's like a dance, like a rhythm.
Yeah.
So it's tangible, and you can always rely on it. So
And that makes such sense because sometimes I'm so focused on the count and I forget, and it's like, this is crazy. Wherever I was, I took a 9-month class on breath work and just all the different things that we learned on what do I use? 2 or 3,
yeah,
all of it. It's like I just don't have the time to think through what is another one that would be better. And I know this one worked last time, so I'm just going to use it. And so I was just somewhere and they were teaching us the 5-10 method where you inhale for 5, exhale for 10, inhale for 5, exhale. And I've been trying to do that and I lose count. Like,
Yeah.
am I counting the same amount or am I just counting how much breath I have? And this, you don't have to worry about rhythm. I mean, it's rhythm. It's not make sure you're doing it for this long and then this long.
No,
So
no,
this
it's
is
not.
like beautiful.
We eliminate all of the complexity. And I think one of the big reasons why parents love it for their children as well, because children, they need something tangible.
Hmm.
So give them something tangible. It's a rhythm, it's a choo-choo train, it's a gentle something they can rely on. And it's just one thing.
And it's funny how good that very last breath feels when you just that long exhale. Mm, it feels so good.
Right.
That is the peaceful part. You know, the rest is energizing, but you do that last exhale, it's like, I'm like going, I'm in heaven.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And we're using this to help bring harmony in the household, to bring more peace and have people feeling good. And when people feel good, they don't have a tendency to want to fight anymore because they want to maintain that peace.
Hmm.
And if the mom does it and the dad does it and the kids do it, well, everybody's happy, right? So
They might think parents are weird, but that's okay. You know, they'll get there. I gave up worrying about if my kids thought I was weird a long time ago.
yeah, totally, totally. Um, but yeah. So we try to keep things simple. I think simple is best. Simple but effective. Easy to remember, is more applicable, and then you're more likely to use it and sustain it. That's what we think.
So if you hear my podcast in the future and we're talking about the 3-3 breathing method instead of the box breath, you'll know where it came from.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, are there any other wisdom you would like to share with us today?
There is actually. There is. There's I think through my journey of being a monk, and then I'm also a relationship coach for women for the last 15 years with a very well-known um, relationships expert called Matthew Hussey. Get the guy. I've been working with them for years. Um, so there's so many things you have to think about: health, wealth, relationships, mind power, and your relationship to something bigger than yourself. Whether you want to call that spirit or God or whatever you want to call it, the universe, Mother Nature. I think it's important to have a framework that allows you to have a conscious relationship with these areas. The more you can do that, the more you're not going to have FOMO, like fear of missing out, something that you missed or something that you lost or something that you didn't dial in. Um, So the 5 life areas is something I teach all my clients. 5 life areas: health, wealth, relationships, mind power, which is not taught in school, unfortunately, and your connection to, call it spirit. How do you feel about the word God? Just putting it out there. Is that
For me personally, there was a time in my life that it shut me down.
right?
I had that religious upbringing that I rebelled against, and this is not going to work. And so for very, very many years, that just cringed me.
Yeah.
And then I read a book, yeah, maybe 15 years ago that used it so much, but I loved the book and it started not being so bad and it started not
Right.
being so bad. And it's a synonym to universe, source, spirit, it's however you want to say it, is okay. It's kind of like affirmation, meditation,
Yeah.
prayer, however you want to say it. And it does, I know there's that higher power, whatever you want to call it, that I want to tune into. So it does not bother me, but I don't know if it does other people. And as long as they understand how it's being framed as that higher.
Mm,
Whether it's your higher self, if some people think there's no other God, it's just us, it doesn't matter. It's that source, it's that thing that helps us move forward.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. Well said. Well said. So I teach that paradigm, and when people sometimes ask me to make it more precise, because people, if they're having a problem, they say, how can I see where the problem is? And because we all have blind spots,
Mhm.
and the mind here, the tricky thing about the mind, it's invisible, right? So the mind doesn't. You can see with the eye of the mind, but you have to train that. You have to develop that awareness. If you don't, you may as well be walking blind because your eyes are open, but your mind can't see.
Right.
And that's, for me, I mean, comparing to how I was before, sleeping with my eyes open, and I wasn't seeing. I was seeing, but I wasn't seeing, if that makes sense. I could see things, but I wasn't reading the story of what's going on behind the scene.
I mean, even with my eyes are closed, there's things that your brain imagines going on, and it's soothing. And if you can get to that place with your eyes open, that's
Yeah.
even more powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that perception is so key. So we have something called the sixfold hierarchy, which helps people pinpoint where the problems might be lying.
Hmm.
Do you want me to go through that in brief or
Sure.
yeah? Okay.
Sure. You got me intrigued. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Because I'm all about maps and paradigms. The great Stephen Covey, who wrote the amazing book.
My favorite book.
Yeah.
It's the book
Mhm.
that changed my life. And
There
I
you go.
talk about sharpening the saw all the time.
Amazing. Love that. So, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I read that when I was in college, and it was so much better than what I was learning in school. And he was a devout Mormon, of course, Joseph Smith, and everything talked about that. And I really started to resonate with the models he was talking about. So paradigms has been huge. I think if people don't have the right roadmap and the right way to see things mentally, I think you're losing out big time. So my model is kind of based on Stephen Covey's, but it's a little different, little tweaked. So as humans, we have this relationship with spirit first. That comes first. Then after that, we have an individualized soul, and we're given this freedom to express ourselves and do whatever we want to do. And under that, we have the mind. Now, here's where it gets tricky because the mind is invisible, right? So some people can debate their whole life whether the mind exists or not, right? And now here's where it gets interesting. You can go to school, you can do your work, you can go through all kinds of tribulations in life. But what are you doing with your mind, right? We know we have a body. We know we have the senses, the eyes, ears, nose, and so on. And we know we have the world as a little playground to have our experience on. But the problem is the magnet of the mind is either turned upwards and looking towards the soul and the spirit and the higher mind, or it's turned downwards and just focused on the body, the senses, and the world. If it's turned downwards and you lock yourself out of the higher perceptions, you're going to think the world is real. And you're going to think your body is real and that the senses are real. But in fact, that's only 10% of your life reality fact.
Yeah.
So this is where all the confusions comes in because the mind is invisible. Everybody can debate that. And have you got your mind turned upwards or downwards? This is where
It had to, there was a long time in my life, it was down. It was all money,
yeah,
doing things, that physical exertion or excitement. That was what I focused on. And it's not where I focus today. But I know that for me, it took a long transition. It's like one baby step. It's like if you had taken that 180 turn, and I might be at maybe 120 now. And I know there's still room to move and to turn around, but I'm more focused on the upward. than the
Yeah.
downward at this time in my life. But there was a time where I was at 0.
Yeah.
And it was all physical and all mental, and there was no other life. And that transition is, to me, I know people that have been able to do the 180, Byron, uh, I forgot her last name.
Byron Caden? Byron
Yeah.
Caden? Yeah.
She got that 180
Yeah.
instantly. And so it's like, um, for me, 1 degree at a time, and when you're finally at that 90, you're in that balance of physical and I'm not all spiritual yet.
I appreciate your transparency and your honesty. But you know what I think is fascinating, that since I turned it completely up 180, I still have a body, I still have my senses, I still have the world, but I know I also have something higher and better than that. So when I die, I know the senses and the body and the world I'll leave behind. But the things I've developed in the relationship that I have now eternally, those will go with me. So I always encourage people to enter into the things of the heart, of the mind, of the higher mind, the spirit, the soul, the insights, the wisdom, the compassion, the love, the unconditional love. The more you live in that space now, the happier and more peace you're going to have. And you'll still enjoy the world. If you want to go to the cinema once in a while, go. If you want to enjoy a car ride somewhere, go. But you still have those things, but they're not to be like truncated from the relationship you have with your higher forces.
I look at my physical body as my car today.
Yeah.
It's the mechanism that helps me navigate this earth. How do we navigate and still have our jobs? Because in the world we live in, it's kind of nice to have a roof over your head. It's kind of nice to have food on the table. And the way it's been created is we exchange our time for money and then our money for things.
Yeah.
And so it's just that cycle. And it's a very tough one to get out of. I still have to exchange money for things.
Mm.
I have a garden, but it doesn't give me enough things.
Right. Yeah, totally appreciate that. And I think what gets fascinating for us is the more you do good for humanity and you get paid for that, you turn your life, your work into a spiritual career. So now you love what you do, you get paid really well for it, and then suddenly you become yourself. You remove yourself from the time for money equation, and you become financially free. And you still enjoy what you're doing, and you start sharing the dividends with more and more people. And I think that's a beautiful thing if you can get to that space. Um, but yeah, freedom is freedom, peace, joy, and bliss. I think these are the things that we should live around. These things, I think.
That hierarchy of we need to be safe first, and then you get to work up. It's like, where is that level
Yeah,
of just being,
yeah,
you know, being able to just be and not worry? The more you make that turn, more judgment goes away, more um, frustration goes away, more anger goes away because they no longer serve you. There's no purpose in trying to compare yourself to another car because
mm.
they're just a car. There is so much more to them than what exists in their little car package that they're running around with today. And,
Yeah,
sometimes we get frustrated that, they're so stupid. And you know what? They're experiencing a lesson that I've already learned. It's okay. It's not people are stupid. It's not that they're not. They're just, it would be like the kindergartner being all sad because they're getting their doctorate, or the doctorate thinking the kindergartner was an idiot. We're just in different phases in our life. And that's
yeah,
where this breathing of it's just okay comes in. And when you can just go, it's okay, your whole life changes. And there's no more of that, well, her shoes don't match her outfit, or he has the wrong color of belt on. who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares? And, it's just, you just go, it's okay. And I've got it on my little wall over here. It's okay. I used to have it on my cubicle wall. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay. That's right. You're absolutely right. And I think when you do these breathing methods as well, Laura, it opens up that space in the heart because breath is not air. It's not just air, like what the public school system would tell you that it's made of 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen. It's not just that. That doesn't mean much to you. What means a lot to you is that every breath you take is made of light, electricity, and magnetism. Light, electricity, and magnetism. Every single breath you take powers your brain, your organs, your cells. Everything is run by this electrical power, which is all around us, and it's free.
Yeah, and when you do it consciously,
Yeah.
you are more like a sponge and absorbing all of that amazing energy than
Correct.
just letting it run through. It goes in and it goes out and we're good. No, you know, when you focus and allow it,
Mm,
it energizes you.
it
Or
does.
it helps you calm down, whatever one you want to use. It's magic. It does
Absolutely.
either.
Absolutely. And the fact that you did a 9-month course, like
It
that.
was 9 months once a week.
Oh, I see. Wow.
So it was like after work, you'd go and you'd spend 4 hours and then you'd go home, so. But it was 9 months of intense learning and Reiki and all other sorts of modalities at the same time. And my husband and I went together. It was phenomenal. So,
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So I think those paradigms, those models, the experience. Is there anything else you'd like to?
I think we've touched on so much, and sometimes just keeping it simple
Mm,
is, what did they say? Less is more.
mm,
I think you have given us so much with these two little tiny things. And I love that you love Stephen Covey too. I remember the first time I was on an airplane for a business trip and I, grabbed this book and I think I read chapter 1 5 times before I got into the rest of the book because it
mm.
was such a transition. It's like, wait, I got to read that again. Wait. So I'm on the airplane rereading chapter 1 over and over and over again. And it was just magical. And I could rattle off all of them, but that sharpening the saw to me was I was that executive that wouldn't stop going.
Mm,
And that was
mm,
so powerful. And then the emotional bank account. Oh my gosh, how powerful. You just like all of them made so much sense
yeah.
that it was just like it was when I'm pretty sure it was pretty close to when it first came out, but so I'm a little older than you. Just this much, you know. But it was just powerful for me, and that's when I felt I started to make my change, you know?
Mm,
And it's little baby steps. It's
yeah.
been a lot of years. I would say I probably read it when I was 50, so been a
Wow.
long time.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, not
Feels like,
50. That's when I read the other book. Late 20s. Late 20s.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. I still use those models today because they're so profound and they're so clear. I still use
They're
them.
simple and easy to understand, yet powerful.
Yeah.
And you just go, wow,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense.
Absolutely. Have you read his other book, First Things First?
Yes.
Yeah.
And First Things First was written by his son, though, right?
Sean Covey. I think it was Rebecca Merrill, his wife, and Stephen Covey, and there was another
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I don't think his
I
son
know
was
that
on the
there's a lot of them that his son, with same name,
Yeah.
has written since too. Let's go ahead. And I think we've eaten a feast of two simple, amazing things. So let's go ahead and share a little bit about, you've already shared about you. How do we get a hold of you? What do we do? Like if we want to keep that wisdom coming, and I know the
Sure.
information about you is in the show notes, but
Yeah.
share with us.
Sure. So most people go to our website, which is to 33insomniahack.com, 33insomniahack.com, because our big mission is to help wipe insomnia from planet Earth and all the billion people suffering with it without drugs, without side effects, and without the complexity of endless psychiatric tests and worry and waiting and, test results and meds and all that stuff. Trying to bypass all of that with a better, easier, more sustainable way to overcome insomnia and sleeping disorders. So that's the 33insomniahack.com. Go on there. You can get our simple program, very simple, easy to follow and implement within 30 minutes. Kept it very, very straightforward, easy to follow. We've got testimonials on there from the NHS, Oracle, Philips, all kinds of companies and individual private psychotherapists around the globe using it. You can WhatsApp us from there. You can email us your questions. And that's just a kind of doorway to transformation. So as soon as you get onto that, you can realize how much you can do once you get into that neuroplastic state of mind.
And the key is to get to the door and let it open. So you've brought us to the door. Now we can open it.
Thank you. No, it's really, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do that.
And I always end, what is that one thing? But I don't know if we want another. So with that one thing that we could do, would you say it's the 3-3 or?
I would say know thyself.
Ooh.
Who are you? Really, who are you? When you're born on this planet, you take a breath. And doctors say they give this very Western idea that, it's just to clear the lungs. And in yoga philosophy, they say, no, it's not because you want to clear your lungs. Say, I have come on this earth to do all this nonsense all over again. Oh dear. That's why they cry.
I definitely am sure that if I get to come back again, I will cry.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're supposed to stay in the astral world, in the heaven world, not supposed to take on the restriction of a physical body, which for the soul is a headache. But when we leave this earth, last thing we do is breathe again, one last breath. So I think know thyself, know who you are, and get intimate with your own breath. Because that's your energy signature coming from a higher realm.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Raj, for joining me and walking us through this amazing exercise. I'm sure that our friend is going to benefit as they practice some of these things. And maybe they already do, and they're going, more people are turning the light on. So it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Friend Raj and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We're here for entertainment. People have found a path that works for us. I want to help you find your path. So thank you for joining, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.